Hello, friends, and welcome. It's your boy Discount Walter White, bringing you the Blue Skies Mix. As I look out over this flooded plain that is the field next to me, I can't help but think about just some random shit. Like, for instance, look at pictures of plateaus and stuff like that, out in deserts and all that stuff, with extreme root-like sutures going along the edges of them or whatever, or ridges, whatever. The shit looks like bark. It looks like, it looks like it roots out. And, which that's a thing, the roots of a mountain, stuff like that. Look at those and consider this perspective, this viewpoint. Have you ever seen petrified wood, like a petrified tree? And this is funny that it worked out like this, that I saw a video regarding plateaus and stuff, and ones that look a certain way being these stumps of massive petrified trees, which doesn't completely check out, but, is what it is. Saw this TikTok about how a petrified tree that had rooted somewhere that actually wound up being a massive coal deposit. The petrified tree, the bark, the outer ring or whatever of the quote unquote logs, I guess you could say, the ring slabs of petrified tree that just naturally fall apart on their own. The outer rim is now coal. The bark basically is coal, and the tree itself is petrified. And you look at it, and if you look at petrified wood, like just a big slab of petrified wood, and you look at the top of a plateau, it looks exactly the fucking same. Like, it looks dead ass the same. I can't say that it's an impossibility, because that viewpoint is within the realm of possibility for me. It's all a bigger picture sort of thing. So imagine how long this earth has been here before you and I. Before we fucked around on here, and before this fucking phone existed, long before all of this bullshit we call modern history, the modern era, so to speak. Well, I'm talking not thousands of years, I'm talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. Millions upon millions of years ago, there were life forms of equivalent intelligence and other things, and of massive goddamn size. Like, who's to say, and you can't hit me with this bullshit like, oh, maybe we didn't, there's no evidence to support it. We find new shit all the time, so don't hit me with anything like, well, there's no evidence. Well, great, fantastic. Science is nothing but questioning theory upon theory upon theory. Take your hypothesis or your theory, put it to the fucking test, and until someone proves you wrong, you can take that as quote unquote acceptable fact. And this to me is acceptable fact, that there were life forms so much bigger than we have any actual real record of, because of how long ago these beings existed. Movement of the crust and sedimentary deposits and all that shit, different layers taking over other layers and all that stuff. That is an absolute fact. Now, to say that trees were the size, that plateaus miles and miles and miles in diameter, to say that those are the stumps of ancient petrified trees, that's a bit of a stretch. Because the earth, though big, was not the size of a neighborhood to giants. It couldn't sustain life that large. It isn't possible. But what is possible is that you can look at it from a Godzilla perspective. Something as big as Godzilla would have interacted with trees that large, to a degree. To a degree. That size to a degree. Think Godzilla Earth, or something like that. Think giant entity. Giant organism that comes from an era before any possible record of history could have taken place. Like, we're talking shit so deep now in terms of like how far we have to dig to find any record of it, to find any evidence whatsoever. We literally can't dig that deep because of continental movement of the crust and the mantle. Because of that shit, we can find no record of these things because we can't dig that deep. We literally can't. And to a degree, there's always the possibility that these beings still exist due to unbelievable longevity of life, that to them, what is a weekend to them, to us, is our entire history on this planet, which goes farther than 6,000 years. If you think humanity is 6 to 30,000 years old and that's it, you're fucking wrong. We're a lot older than that, but we weren't always as retarded as we are now, because we're fucking dumb now. We have de-evolved ourselves successfully, or external forces did so. I don't know or give a fuck. I don't care. Point is, shit is weird and off the walls wonky. Alright? Shit is different. There's more to life than what you see. There's more to life than misery and strife. There's a lot going on here. It's an amazing reality we live in. And it spawns all these other realities, these quote-unquote lesser realities, these branch realities. We are the roots of the actual, we're the foundation. We are the fucking body of the tree itself from which all reality branches. We are the creator reality, you could say. Because we create and we can imagine and pull from all these other ones to create and inspire and create more. Like, only through inspiration does creation happen at this point. One must be inspired to create in order to create. Like, that's where it comes from. Inspiration. Some people are inspired on their own, others are inspired because of just seeing someone else who has created. And that in of itself is the beauty of creation. And whenever we remove that inspirational effect, you get rid of any and all possibility for creation and ingenuity, improvement, of evolution. To evolve the creativity is a big deal. And we're not doing that anymore. So whenever I say broaden your fucking mind to at least take in the idea that maybe, just maybe, ancient, I'm talking like, what the dude, he said like preluvial. I always knew it was Precambrian. Precambrian trees, ancient trees the likes of which we can't have record for because they've been petrified so long, we consider that stone and absolute, and that's it, that's all it is. And the scale of which we couldn't imagine because what we see today is nowhere near that. So who's to say that there weren't trees that were so goddamn big they'd make a plateau now because of being, like whenever they were petrified, they'd be a plateau now. A mile in diameter or some shit. Who's to say that something like that couldn't possibly have existed? Not to say that it was across the entire world. The whole world was a forest of trees in absolute magnificence on scale and grand so large, the likes of which we couldn't possibly comprehend. I'm not saying that. I'm saying one big fucking tree every great distance or so could have sprouted a fuck ton of smaller trees that we see today. Who's to say that that wasn't the case? Who's to say that that wasn't possible? Prove me fucking wrong, and I'll wait. You go back to Precambrian and whatever comes before that times. Go back to the primordial fucking ooze and see what was around back then, and I'll wait. Bring me back a fucking sample or something. Bring me back some motherfucking Arby's from back then too, if you got it. They're not sponsoring me, but they do got the meats, and I do love their meats. Sit on my face, Arby's, I love you. Let me get the beef curtains. Alright, no, let's see, that's horrible. No, for real though, back on topic. Expand your mind. Expansion of thought is the topic here. Broaden your mind. Don't let it be narrowed down by bullshit. Like religious dogma, or various dogmatic religions that are out there. Even spirituality is a fucking, you're putting yourself in a box. It might be that whole, when I will transcend the box. Well, good for you, motherfucker. You're still in another box. You are not seeing the grander picture at play. You are not seeing what goes beyond God. You're not seeing what goes beyond all of that. There is limitation even in the entity of God. The idea of God, the Godhead, the Brahma, whatever you want to call it, fucking the flying spaghetti monster, all of it, whatever the fuck it is that you consider the tippy top, there is limitation to that in and of itself. That is still a box. Go beyond it. Go beyond plus ultra. Go infinity and beyond. Infinity plus one. Do that. Do infinity plus one. We knew about it in our childhood. We thought it was the ultimate form of breaking that stupid bullshit. Infinity was an infinite sort of thing that never ended. And infinity plus one, or times infinity plus one, was the ultimate way to say, fuck you forever and possibly. Like, that was the ultimate Giga Chad middle finger whenever you were a kid. And we just knew that it was important and that it was a thing. So the way I see it now, you've got to break yourself free of that infinity. You got to do the +1. If you can count past infinity, all you have to do is hit that 1. If you hit the possibility of 1, that 1 then opens up all the rest. That's it. So break through infinity and hit that 1. Become infinity +1. I assure you, it's a painful experience. You'll fucking hate it. And you'll resent it for a long time because some part of your life that's important to you will be destroyed, if not all of it. And you'll have to start from scratch. I'm here to tell you that I've already done that. And it was bullshit. So it sucked. But I can count past infinity now. So there's that. The possibility, the realm of possibility beyond that, it's something you either dive into it wholeheartedly and immerse yourself in the infinity +1, or you come back to base, which is this. Base is in base reality. You come back to this and you attempt to enlighten and uplift those who, through interactions with you, can be affected by the ripples. And you can't wake everybody up immediately. That's not how it works. You can't Thanos snap everyone and they're all suddenly awake. It's not possible. You can't do it. What you can do is you can affect change. People you interact with. Like, let's say, for instance, you smile at someone that you wouldn't have smiled at otherwise. That infinity +1, that one extra possibility beyond the limitation of infinity, because infinity is an endless back and forth. It's the rhyming of time. It's the back and forth repetition of time. History repeating itself. That's infinity. It's going to always constantly repeat itself with one slight little variable, and that's it. That infinity +1 is, what if there was an extra variable on top of that variable that disrupted the infinity cycle? Infinity is an even number. Infinity +1 is an odd number. Odd numbers can do both even and odd. Even numbers cannot. That's why I like odd numbers. That's why I always look for the odd number, because even numbers create a locked set. Even numbers can only make more even numbers. Odd numbers can make both even and odd numbers. There is that possibility, that one extra, to break through that even lock-in. So infinity +1. You've got to broaden your mind to be able to take into account infinity +1. If you can't, then you will never escape what you call the matrix. You will never escape the matrix. You'll never break free of that, because you won't see that one extra variable. Like, imagine action and reaction, and then the ability to choose to react or act a certain way, instead of, like, what is it? Like, let's hit the fucking, what is it? The Tomorrow War thing or whatever. Pick anything that involves repeating the same thing over and over and over again until you find the one right outcome that allows you to progress. And it's always locked into this one exact perfect scenario, isn't it? Always one. Now imagine that is the infinity. That only one possible scenario is there. That one possible scenario. And, well, technically two, because you have success and you have failure. Success to break through and failure to repeat. Which failure means you repeat. Okay, now imagine that infinity +1, because infinity is the A and B. Either you succeed or you don't. If you don't, you do it again until you do succeed. Infinity +1 is you either succeed this way, or you don't succeed that way, or you do succeed this way, and if you don't succeed that, then you go back to B. C is the secondary option, and the secondary option of success, not secondary option of failure, because that one essence of failure would do nothing more than return you back to B, with the awareness that now C is an option, that there is that one more, that variable, and then things change. You disrupt the cycle. You disrupt the infinity. There is no longer a perfect loop. There is no longer the perfect figure eight. There is now the perfect figure eight with, instead of the perfection of continuation, imagine like the little swoopy off the Q. Imagine that. The uppercase Q with the swoop that goes through the loop. Now, imagine that. That is option C. That is the breaking of that cycle. You've got to expand your mind to infinity +1, and that's the one. So, why do you think Hollywood is creatively fucking bankrupt, derelict, why they are laying there in a cesspool of their own stupid and just pushing their narrative because they don't know what else to do. It's either you succeed or you fail, and they don't want to them, their success is our failure. Whenever in actuality, they could succeed and we could succeed if they weren't so goddamn evil. They picked option B, and right now we're picking option C. We're not even picking option A. But you all have no idea of that. As a society, you're just moving on. You're going through the motions. So as you go through the motions, you move on, you move forward. You're just going along, doing your thing, and today you just, instead of putting on the same pair of socks you normally do, you put on a different pair of socks. Or instead of doing that, if you normally do that and you're tired of the pairs of socks you have, you mix and match, or you just go and buy a whole completely different type of sock. Or you do what I do and you raw dog your shoes today as a variable. Because normally I don't leave the house at all. I've only done it one other time. And I was like, well, that's technically an option because it does slide off and on a lot easier. And I can be a lot faster out the door. I don't do that. Because not having socks to me is a fucking crime against nature. And as it stands, I'm committing a crime against nature by my own standards. That fog is still beautiful. But anyway, food for thought on that. Look at the bigger picture though. See the infinity plus one. Break through the bullshit cycle of infinity. You always think, well, you know, what about my will? I can do whatever I want. There's not just that set cycle. Yeah, there's that set cycle, but due to interactions with people like me, whether you realize it or not, and it takes time. It takes time and lifetimes, because your awareness will return back to whole cloth at some point or another. Your awareness will reset and come back and remember things from previous lives that you've lived. Because, to quote someone else, the earth is like a school. It's to see if you graduate. You've got to graduate and join the quote-unquote higher consciousness vibration. And the earth is merely a test for that. And a lot of you are being forced to fail the test by people who should be teaching you how to pass it. They're instead forcing you to fail. So, naturally, I take umbrage with that. I'll do with you all what I did in school when I was a kid. I will teach you my way, translate the shit that they should be teaching you instead of them failing you. I will teach you how to pass, and I'll teach you how to do it without actually teaching you. You will learn through experience and interaction, and I won't have to sit there and explain to you in detail how the shit works. Because what would be the point in me giving you the answer? You'll have the answer. You won't have learned the lesson. So, I can give you help. So I do that. That's why I'm such an out there fucking person. That's why people will remember me. My legacy is interacting with people, how I interact with people, and how that affects them. Like, for instance, if any of you follow my podcast, The Blue Skies Mix, where I like to go and stir the shit sometimes, I like to mix things up, and those of you who do listen, hopefully you enjoy it. Which I know none of you do. I know because analytics. People don't listen to my stuff. No one cares. Why should you? I'm just some dude on the internet. But I'm just some dude who, through my interactions, I affect people's lives. Like, for instance, me being so well loved in a place that people look forward to me coming through because I make them laugh. I make them laugh and I make them see that it's not all the bullshit. It's not all fun and games all the time, but it's also not misery and strife constantly. That's why I like me coming up with the saying, there's more to life than misery and strife. Like, I love that saying. Whenever I hit an old teacher with that, an old teacher of mine, he's, by the way, if you know who Rex Robinson is, if you're from Owensboro, Davis County, in the state of Kentucky, or if you're anyone who knows about him from abroad, he's going to be on my podcast. So, he's already on a friend of mine's. I got him set up with that first because he wants me to be his marketing coordinator. So, so I got him a show booked. Next he's on mine, and I want to get him out there. But I hit him with the saying that there's more to life than love and strife. And it's either you're happy and in love, or you're miserable and depressed. And life is that's pushing you down a bunch, or you're just high as fuck on love. There is more to it than A or B. There's always option C. There's always that infinity plus one. You've got to broaden your mind and see it. So that's what I did with him. I hit him with that saying, and now I'm going to try and convince him that it's true. Instead of being passive about things, I want to be active and get his ass involved. But I've got to start into seeing how it is he interacts and what it is that he wants to do and how it is I can affect that. So that's the mission. But that's because I've broadened my mind to be able to see those different viewpoints. I'm seeing things he's missing. So because of interacting with me, he'll get to have experiences and interactions that he wouldn't get otherwise. If not for him being here for me to involve with, though, he wouldn't have the chance for that at all. Like, if he hadn't been brought back to town, if he hadn't been brought back to this city, and because of the universe drew his ass back, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, he would call it God, I'd call it the universe. But he was brought back here for me to interact with him, because by sheer random chance that I could just wander over to his house, or what used to be his house, and he was there. He walked up with his dog after walking his dog, and from then on, it was almost immediately he asked me to be his marketing coordinator. And immediately I was like, all right, well, we're going to get you on my friend's show. I'm going to get you out there. And it all stems back to whenever I was a student in his class. He gave me the freedom to choose what I did. He let me have control of a part of my life. And when I say let me, it was because I took control of my life in a moment. I ignored him, went to the back of his class because he was my art teacher, went to the back of his class and started to create what I wanted to create, not what I was told to create. Lessons are one thing, but learning is something else entirely. Learning should be done with passion. Lessons are done begrudgingly. And with Rex, because I went to the back of the class, I ignored his lessons and went to the back of the class, and I learned about acrylic paint. I learned about canvas paper. I learned about splatter art. I learned about different things that I could use to make said art. I learned because I wanted to learn. Not because I was given a lesson and told to eat it. Well, you swallow this, you'll be good, you'll learn. This will be the best way to do it, right? You'll be a fucking little machine. Rex didn't believe in it, so he let me have fun in the back of the class. The other students hated me. But I didn't give a fuck. I was there for me, not them. His class was the highlight of my day. I only looked forward to school, or I only looked forward to his class in school. I hated school. It was an abysmal thing, because they wouldn't let me broaden my horizons, to expand my mind, to open my mind, and to really learn the way that I wanted to learn about the things that I wanted to learn about. They tried to turn me into a unit, and I was not about to have that. And I've never been like that. Compliance to me is the same as killing me, and I will not comply. I refuse to do so. I love being defiant. I love it so much that it's a part of my fucking DNA. So, there's that. I like to say I'm a big walking middle finger, and that's what happens. Because I interact with people, I change them. The greatest examples are my sister, my daughter, and friends I've had in the past. Because of interacting with me, it changed them in ways that were fundamental to their personality and their core. It changed them to see the bigger picture. It changed them to not be so upset. I changed them and made them stronger. I made them more responsible. I made them more understanding. And that has its double edge. It has some blowback on it. Because depending on the person, that can be good or bad. It's up to them what they do with it. Some of them didn't use it right, some of them used it wrong. So, because of that, I've had some troubles in the past with people that I thought were my friends. I've also been left on the fucking altar. Or to quote Emery King, they left me on the fucking crucifix. And that's all I had going for me. Was them. So, at my lowest moments, I had been left high and dry. Because instead of expanding their minds, they narrowed them back down. They locked themselves out, and they didn't overcome the hardship that threw itself into our faces. So I lost important parts of my life, people that I cared about most. They left me on the crucifix. So there I was, just fucking hanging, bleeding out for him, and here we are. Oh, fuck religion. Alright. Can we go faster? I'm going 30 in a 45. Sad. Do I want coffee? I think I do. What the fuck am I listening to? The fuck is this? Anyway, I'm having a good time recording. I'm just going the fuck off. Oh, fuck you. Billie Eilish. Yeah, Billie's Eyelash Nightcore. I'm gonna go down to the coffee shop. Fuck it. It's a nice foggy day. Whole goddamn day's been foggy. It's amazing. Care what you think. I like Nightcore. I like all kinds of shit, but Nightcore is my mood right now. Well, you gotta expand your mind. I say that knowing full well that, like, the new Matrix movie to me, it just fucking, it should not exist. And I've already made a video on that. Go and look at that video. Matrix Continuations. And that's a fucking mistake. You gotta do it the right way, and they didn't do it the right way. So, you know, sad day on that. But other than that, you know, if you enjoyed the movie, I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it. My taste does not allow me to enjoy that movie. I'm not gonna watch it. Now, No Way Home, that movie was just fucking perfect. He said a perfect mixture of his perfect seasoning and blends. You couldn't fucking beat that movie with a stick. Alright? God, that's an old saying. You couldn't beat that with a stick. You couldn't carry a tin if it was in a bucket and had handles. Alright. Oh. Jesus Christ. Oh. Alright. I think let's move on to another topic now. Because expanding your mind and broadening your horizons, that plays into the whole, like, vibrational frequencies and all that shit. And then it gets into fucked up stuff I ain't talking about. I say fucked up stuff. It's just hard to wrap your head around it. Like, the essence of quantum immortality, shit like that. 0 point energy and what that inherently means to the universe and all that shit. Like, I'm not gonna get into all that shit. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got the fucking brain power for it. What I do have time for is time. I mentioned previously that I'm on Cosmic Time. If not to you guys, then I've mentioned it in other places, like TikTok, Facebook, all that shit. Just personally to friends, on some episodes of podcasts, like the Ghost Floor radio show with the sexiest audience. You know you are, stranger. Even though you're not watching this. Which Mr. Birch might be watching this. I don't know, the famous Mr. Birch. Anyway, Cosmic Time is seeing past, present, and future all at once, all at the same time, and at the same time seeing none of it. It's a paradox in and of itself. It exists as a perpetual paradox. And I really don't want to get stuck here. There we go. Let's go, fellas. Come on, fuckers, let's go. I'm trying to get up there. Please and thank you. Okay. Alright, anyway. Cosmic time exists as a paradoxical thought process because we consider time a construct that has no actual weight or bearing on us. That we just made it up, it's not real. It is very much real. It is, fourth dimensionally speaking, fourth dimension being the axis of time, whereas third dimension is the axis, or what is it? Yeah. The axes of space and time are third and fourth dimensional. So space being third, time being fourth. Fourth dimensional time is cosmic time, or higher time. It's the next step, so to speak. But it's also something we've actually already hit. It's just not apparent to us. Like, we're not aware of cosmic time yet as a whole. You get individuals like me who are aware of cosmic time, and we dabble in specific points in time because that's just where we need to exist. So, for instance, if I didn't exist at this exact point in time, fucking with the people that I fuck with and being the fucking absolute ridiculous bastard that I am, I'm fucking hilarious. If it wasn't for me being the ridiculous bastard that I am at this exact point in time, then events that take place in the future and farther along the time thread, or the time coil, if you will, farther along in time wouldn't happen. So it took events in the past to create me to be the exact way that I am right now, so that way in the future, people and events are changed enough to interact and be the exact way they need to be to affect so on. You see, it's the domino effect. It's the domino effect of time. It's something, though, to where, like, due to seeing cosmic time or cosmic awareness, seeing the understanding of it, or seeing and understanding it, due to that, I am able to... You need to go, bud. You drive slow. Oh my God. You drive slower than people fuck. Let's go. I'm gonna get there eventually. Hold on, Margaret. Grab my life alert button just in case. If I start to go, you press it. I'll hold on to yours. That's the new fucking... Never mind. I was gonna say that's the new hair pull. You get Margaret from behind, you grab her life alert. Goddamn, dude, you're in the intersection. Just go. I fucking love this. Yeah, there's a thought. Ooh, good timing. Cosmic timing has timing in mind, by the way. Things happen as they're supposed to happen accordingly, and being aware of cosmic time means you can then, if you need to pluck a domino out of line, or if you need to affect how the domino falls, you can. It's something that I don't keep myself actively abreast on. I'm not actively aware of it, because if I were, then you would risk that quote-unquote accidental corruption. You see it all the time in time movies or whatever, or in movies that address time travel. If I tell you, then it won't happen. Best example is Infinity War, Doctor Strange telling Tony Stark, if I tell you how this ends, then it won't happen. That sort of thing. So, for instance, I know that the things I've been through up to this point have been for the sake of creating the me that exists now. And I also know that the me that exists now has to be the certain way that it is, anger and all, because the me that needs to exist in the future is going to need it. Is going to need me to be a certain way. So the me that is cosmically attuned, or that is on fourth dimensional time, or whatever, the higher self, call it the higher self. My higher self is fully aware that I need to be allowed to do this a certain way. It requires quote-unquote perfection, which for me is absolute fucking utter chaos. It is not perfection in any way. It is not representative of actual true perfection, because I am adamantly against the idea of perfection. Perfection is an insult. Perfection is a joke. It is impossible to have perfection, because to me, perfection requires the removal of freedom of will. Once you remove free will, you remove the ability to create new. You lock it into even numbers, you don't allow for odd numbers. You don't allow for that infinity plus one. And I am very much belligerent. I get furious. I am very human. So, let's polarize the idea then, because polarization is important. I have to be polarized a certain way. I've got to gravitate to one thing or the other. I can be unbelievably compassionate, giving, and loving, and I can be the higher vibration, the essence of love. I can have that essence of love and immediately switch gears and polarize the opposite way to anger, rage, and hatred, because that is where, in between the love and the hate polarities, is I guess you could say, a central fixed point, which is that protection, that desire to protect and to care, that nurturer, the protector. I call it the cruel protector, because my cruelty is the anger side, but the protector is the love side. And it's two sides of the same coin for me. So I just want to do that. Can we eat this? All right. I gotta not take things too serious. Yay for weather. All right. No. I have to polarize myself somewhere in the middle, because, and you can't stand in the middle. You can't. But I'll get to that in a second. I've got to polarize myself somewhere in the middle to be able to reach either side. Like, if you're in the middle, you can reach left and right. Granted, you could also say that if you're in the middle, then you can't reach either side. But I'm a firm believer in that you've got to have those extremes. And if you can extremely reach one side, you can extremely reach the other. So I can get into that extreme anger, and I can summon it up whenever I want, and then I can also just chill the fuck out and be cool. I can be goofy. I can be in the middle of absolute fury, and because of my ability to just flip the script, I can immediately, like, I can just start laughing. I can start joking about the horrible shit I'm going through in the exact, like, as I'm going through it actively. And does that mean I hate what I'm going through, Alyssa? Absolutely not. Because if I did, then it would remove the purity of it from me. So I've got to feel the emotions that I'm feeling. Like, for instance, oh, for fuck's sake. You gotta be kidding me. Alright, moment tie. Alright, cool. So, and we're back. Back like a butt crack. Alright. Like a bad case of herpes, I keep coming back. So, or for my friend in the mechanic business, like a bad case of crabs, you keep getting caught. That poor fucker. Man. That's what he gets for going to Mardi Gras. Spring break! Yeah, I'm gonna mirror my STDs everywhere. You go for it, Debbie. Or my bad, not Debbie. I know someone named Debbie who I love. You go, Becky. Get at it. Fucking spread that shit like butter on burnt toast. Let's go. Oh shit. What's up, D? Nice. Cool. I need to wrap this up while he's here. I need to go and talk to that guy, who oddly enough is a cop. Stay woke, fam. No. Whatever the fuck I was getting at. I got derailed because I saw smoke coming off. It looked like smoke. It might have been steam coming off my hood. It is rather cool over here because that large body of water over there, but still. But no, being on like Cosmic Time and shit like that, whatever the fuck my thought was previously, I can't go back and look at it because I'm still actively recording and this is 37 minutes long. Being on Cosmic Time, you see things from a broader perspective. You see the bigger events. Like, I'm waiting for some big-ass events to come along. Some of them are catastrophic as far as nature goes. Others are catastrophic as far as society goes. I'm waiting. Some of the events that were supposed to happen haven't happened because I made a lot of predictions when I was younger. My intuition was unbelievably high. Shit kept at 11. And the predictions that I made, some of them came true. We're talking by the fucking detail. Some of them were broad and just the events that mattered happened. Otherwise, the details didn't happen. And then other events completely and utterly did not happen, but they were fucking trying to happen. So, like, things that I predicted either happened or tried to fucking happen, but something got in the way. And you have no idea how fucking happy I am, because some of that shit was absolutely catastrophic. We'd be a lot farther along. We wouldn't have had the chances we have now. So, someone's playing with my cosmic time, and I love it. But I'm not even digging in my ear. It's like the outer earlobe. So, that's cool. I have ear hair, so I don't know if you can tell. But, yeah. Anyway. Shit is what it is. Just broaden your fucking mind, please. Open your mind. Don't see the A and the B, the polarity. See that C option where it's like, okay, well, or your yard and your neighbor's yard both are on the same plot of land. You just don't realize it. Like, you let that little bitty fence that y'all say divides your properties, you let that divide it, but really the worms don't see the fence. You know what I'm saying? Like, nature doesn't see the fence. You do. The higher essences don't see the fence. You do. Like, shit like that. Your yard and your neighbor's yard are in the same neighborhood on the same plot of land. You share the same plot of land. You just act like you're on different properties. And that's why we call them property, because you call it your property. You own the surface of dirt. You own this exact little area. You own the idea. You don't own the actual land. Oh, well, there he goes. Oh no, he's chilling. You own the plot of land and you own the idea of the land. You don't own the actual land itself. You can't, because when you die, it'll be gone. You can't take it with you. You can leave it to people. You can lose it to the government. But they don't own it either. They own nothing. They just own the idea. They're the snake oil salesman. They sold you property on the moon and you bought it wholesale. Like, there is nothing changing here. Nothing is going on except you own an idea. And I hope you enjoy that idea. You own nothing. Everything that you own can be taken from you at any point in time. If you die, it doesn't go with you. You own nothing. You own nothing except for you and your actions. That is all you own. You own an idea. Like, I myself am an idea. You yourself are an idea. These things that we create, music, movies, paintings, everything, products, all of it, thoughts, they're all that. That's all they are. Ideas, they're thoughts. That's the only thing that you're making is an idea. And it will change the course of history forever. So create. Create new ideas. And do not let them put you in a fucking box. You get hit with a copyright strike, well, fuck them. Go somewhere else where that's not going to happen. You get hit with requests to take things down, even though it's a fresh iteration, and it has no actual, it's not a carbon copy, but it's inspired. Like, and it needs to be as authentically original as possible. Give it your own spin. Do not carbon copy someone else's work, because then you're just stealing. And that's weak. That's a weak-minded thing to do. Create new. Create more. Like the book that I never wrote. And I'm probably never going to write at this point. I don't know if I want to now. I love the story and I love the world and I love what it can be, but I am sick of it. Because that world that would have allowed me to create that world fell apart. That world doesn't exist anymore. And I am not the same person. I've been through shit since then. I've been through experience. I'm different. I'm a different person now. I am still me, but it's a new me, a different me, an older me, a me who has been through all the shit that version of me hadn't been through yet. That version of me still had their own life. And this version of me is in its own life. And eventually this version of me will become some other version of me. And eventually another version of me, eventually down the line, the thread of time, will fucking die physically. And I'm going to leave the physical realm entirely. And how I go about that will be up to me, I would say, in the sense of the path that I choose. So based on my decisions, I unconsciously will decide where and when it ends. However, I just don't know when it will be and how it will be. But by decision making and what I'm doing, it will be eventually. It's guaranteed. You either make a decision and you die, or you don't make a decision and you still die. It's all about how and when you go. You can go out on your own terms. You just don't realize it. It's all about how you live your life. So I recommend living your goddamn life. Because it is agonizingly short. Unless you're on cosmic time, then it is unbelievably fucking long. It's both long and short, I should say, actually, because me in the future will look back on this and have it be like, oh man, that was like a blink of an eye. And me right now in the present is like, god damn, this is taking for fucking ever. Me in the past is like, god, I'm gonna fucking not live very long at all, and it's gonna be quick and all that shit. Before and after, it's a blink of an eye. In the past and in the future, it's in the blink of an eye. But in the present, it's one hell of a long goddamn staring contest, you could say. It fucking takes forever. So, in the middle, it's a slow process, but in the beginning and in the end, it's fucking quick. So, there you go. There's that. I have drawn this thing on for 45 goddamn minutes almost. So I need to go ahead and bring this to an end, because 45 minutes is a long upload time anyway. This has been, I have no idea what. This has been a philosophical musing sort of thing. This needs to go on my podcast bad. This really needs to go on that. That would be fucking awesome for an episode. And I would love, absolutely love, if at any point in this you're hit with anything, let me know in the comments, please. If you liked any of this, or you're like, dude, this is some mind-blowing shit, then by all means, hit a fucking like button, please. Hit that bell icon. Get the notifications whenever I upload anything else. It's sporadic and random, and I hit all kinds of different topics, but that's why it's called the Blue Skies Mix. If you like anything that I do and want to support me, you can do so via Cash App. #discount Walter White, all one word. Now subscribe. I love you. Hugs and kisses.